Delighted to say that we have the Liverpool legend Phil Thompson on the show next here on OTB AM. But first, let's hear from John Giles talking Jurgen Klopp on last night's Off the Ball.
Well, Ned, I think Klopp has done a great job for Liverpool. There's no doubt about that. But when he first came to the club, or after the season or so, my attitude to Klopp was he's a one-trick pony with a great trick, and I still think that. I still think that. I think tactically and all that thing, I don't think he's into the tactics and this. I think it's all go. Against Manchester United, there was no go. But to be fair to Manchester United defended very, very well.
Yeah, sure.
But then you come 3 days later, and it is go. That's what I think he's done a great job doing what he's doing for Liverpool. But I don't think he's a tactical individual. I think he is. This is what we do, and this is what we intend to do.
Yeah.
And he sticks by, and he has the courage to stick by that.
Energy and enthusiasm.
Sometimes it's right,
and
sometimes
emotion,
it's not so right.
Phil Thompson, good morning to you.
Good morning. There's John going off again. Another anti-Liverpool slant on it. He was like between gritted teeth. Was he actually saying Jurgen Klopp was good, or was he saying he was bad?
I think he's saying that his line, I think that he frequently uses...
He's a one-trick pony.
Yeah, it's a good trick though, is the line.
Yeah, it's not a bad trick, is it? It's not a bad trick. He's done very well. I don't know where we'd get a one-trick pony if he did leave us. And to say, I just don't know where these ex-Man United people come from. I really don't. Anyway, let's move on, guys.
He obviously wanted to get you on to talk about the Merseyside Derby at the weekend, and looking back over even the last 5 derbies, at Goodison particularly, there's been actually just 1 goal between them over that time. Despite the difference in their league position at the minute, are you expecting it to be as close this weekend, Phil?
Absolutely, guys. It's this is always one. It's been ever thus. When I was a fan, when I was a kid, it was always you were worrying about it. Now and again, you would get a big scoreline. I can remember Everton beat me when I was a kid, and they beat us at Anfield 4, but we got our own back on them when we went to Goodison and beat them by 5. But they were a little bit different. So, yes, I'm expecting a very tight game, no matter where they are in the league. They did have a good result against Cardiff, but I'm expecting it. It's that early part of it. Mind you, in fairness, I was expecting it last week against Manchester United, but never materialised the aggression from both sides. But maybe we might get it on Sunday.
The derbies notwithstanding, and their capacity to obviously get up for a derby notwithstanding, is this as bad an Everton side, Phil, as you've seen over the last couple of decades almost? I
wouldn't say it's as bad as it gets. I don't think it's functioning as well as it can. Still don't think he actually knows anywhere near what his best team will be. I think if we'd talk about Fulham, maybe Ranieri in a second, but I look at it and all those signings that they made in the summer, right at the death, I think it confused him more than it settled his mind about what was going to be his best defence. And I think he's had problems right throughout the season. So I think there's better things to come from Everton next year. But I think Silva needs to be given time. I think he is a good manager. I know people are always... Premier League is... Isn't it? You have a good couple of results and everybody's, this is the way ahead. And then you have a couple of bad results and he's got to go. I think we've got to be a little bit calmer about what we see and where the future lies. And I think Everton are like that at the moment. I'm expecting a really, really competitive derby. Some of the players that they have there are better than what they've been given in the last sort of 6 weeks or so. So it should be a decent contest.
You speak about patience there, Phil. It seems like a strange thing to say at this juncture since they're going for the title, but could it also be applied to Liverpool? Because Jurgen Klopp has been saying this week that this is the start of something, not the end of something.
I totally agree with that. And I don't know, I spoke to Ivan a lot on Monday nights, particularly in the early part of the season. I expected a Liverpool challenge for the Premier League title, and I did, but I tipped Manchester City. But I said, what will happen, what you will find happen, is that Liverpool will be very, very close to Manchester City, very close indeed. But I thought City would win it. But I said, Liverpool, if we don't win it this year, we will win it next year. And I think that is where Jurgen Klopp is trying to come from. City will have sort of better players, an extra year older, and I thought next year Liverpool will win the title. But we're making a fantastic fist of it this year. So I can see where he's trying to go. Is he's not setting up, he's not a one-trick pony. He does have a vision for the club, and to quote a lot of managers, a project. And he sees this being established for many years to come. And I told you guys last week that is a fear in some people, is that they don't want to see Liverpool having that cycle again.
Yeah. I know I offered a slight counter opinion to that, and I spoke to a good bunch of people afterwards, and they were mostly with you. I'm happy to tell you that actually people are sort of generally of the mind that they wouldn't want to see Liverpool win this thing. Most of the neutrals, anyway. Are you concerned about the run? Like, City have a pretty straightforward run upcoming now, and it feels like it's a brilliant few months actually ahead. Normally we don't get this kind of two-horse race until it becomes a bit more apparent, sort of maybe closer to the end of the season. But for the neutral again, for the next few months look so exciting. But are you concerned in some ways? Like the obviously City meet Spurs in the middle of April, I think it is, and they have a run of 5 games that really should be money in the bank for them.
Yeah, it is, but it should have been money in the bank against West Ham the other night, and they made very heavy weather of it. And it should have been money in the bank for Liverpool against Leicester, against West Ham. So there's maybe a few twists and turns in this still to go. I've no doubt with that. But it is fantastic to have at least a race for it, because Manchester City, but by the turn of the year, had it won last year. So it will be good. I can see it going. But you're saying Liverpool's is difficult. I think once we've got Everton out of the way on Sunday, ours is relatively good. The tough games we've got are both at home, Chelsea and Spurs, and you can see at any given time they can be flaky. So both run-ins are quite decent. So it's whoever can keep the nerve, I feel.
It looks like, there's Spurs at the end of this month from a Liverpool point of view, and after the Everton game, Burnley and Fulham after that. But I mean, there is frequently we hear sports people and former sports people talk about the intensity that comes with games like this one at the weekend. There's the intensity of that, Phil, obviously on Sunday, then there's Burnley, and then the intensity of the return leg in the Champions League as well. Like it can sap them, obviously, those types of games.
Absolutely, but it goes for Manchester City as well as Liverpool. You do expect that. That's what your players are. But you can see now, after the weekend, down to double digits in the Premier League fixtures. And your quarterfinals of the Champions League, it's not far away. So it's not a thing where you've got to sort of try and rotate players. It's play your best team, go with your best team, deal with your injuries when they come, and you should be all right now. And that's why I feel as though keep rotating, you lose a little bit of that energy levels that you have. And it was like Liverpool went for these breaks in Dubai and to Spain, and we seemed to lose the edge rather than it giving us the edge. That first game back from the boat trips was absolutely dreadful. So need to keep the energy, but I think just head down now and go for it.
And I presume the same applies on Sunday. What do you? Are we going to see another draw between these two? How do you see it going?
No, it doesn't. I see Liverpool winning it. I do. I think the first early part of it, again, like with Man United, first 20 minutes, first 15 minutes maybe, we get through that, game settles down, and I think we are better than Everton. That goes without saying. And I'm expecting a Liverpool victory by 2-0.
Yeah, I think the fact that Liverpool are better than Everton does definitely go without saying. Just one final point on the game, Phil. I'll be interested to get your take on how much better they are on paper. Like, how many of these Everton players will get into the Liverpool team?
At this moment, I wouldn't say one. And I think even the ones who are not too bitter of a blue would probably say the same at this moment. The win against Cardiff were there for the taking. They'd just been drubbed by Watford just before it, so they were low on confidence. But man for man, there's nobody that you could really see the Everton players getting in, and that's not a sort of bias. I'm probably quite predict that some of my guys on Soccer Saturday would say exactly the same thing. But no, not really. But when you get the energy, you get that sort of drive and everything that comes for a derby game. That's why you get it, that you have it, particularly at Goodison Park, that you have a leveller.
Just finally, before we let you go, Phil, we wanted to get your thoughts on Brendan Rodgers, obviously back in the Premier League. Opinion here a bit divided about him, because obviously there's a lot of Celtic fans and people thinking if he actually was after success, he should have stayed at Celtic. But your thoughts?
Yeah, I can really listen. He's done absolutely wonderful at Celtic. Absolutely wonderful. It was great. He was always a good coach. People said, "Oh, he had to go up there to sort of resurrect his career." I think he was always a good manager, a very good manager. He's won a lot up there. And if it was the same thing down here with Liverpool, I would be upset if my manager was to sort of walk away when he did. Charlie Nicholas has been telling me for quite a while, going back to the start of the season, always not happy between the board and Brendan, and what Brendan wanted and what he seen the vision for Celtic. So there was a divide there. So maybe when the offer came, I'd always said, guys, you guys will probably be, the Celtic guys will be looking and saying, why Leicester? Leicester's not big. They're nowhere near as big. Celtic are a bigger football club the way it is. But the finance and the money down here, down south, is a lot to offer managers. And Leicester have a lot. They've just been in the wilderness since they won the title. They've got a fantastic manager, have Leicester. And I really believe that. I think they've really pulled up trees to get Brendan Rodgers down there. That will upset the Celtic fans. But I would think, and the way they are, forget about them. They have to move on now, Celtic, and the same goes for Leicester.
It seemed, Phil, that Rodgers' stocks had plummeted a little bit by the time he'd finished up with Liverpool. Has time kind of eased that a little bit, and kind of there's more memories of what he actually did achieve in terms of getting so close to the title?
That is exactly it, guys. I don't know where this his stock had lowered, because he had that last sort of 12 months at Liverpool, and things had gone sort of stale. Brendan was still a very good coach, going as near to the title that he had done with Stevie Gerrard, with Sturridge, Sterling, Suarez. He had them playing away, and I'd sat in his office with Brendan, and he explained tactics to me, and I thought, wow, that's quite clever. That's very well done. So I don't get that. I don't give that just because it didn't go right in that 12 months at Liverpool. He had done his stuff at other clubs, Watford, Swansea, and then he'd moved on. And that's the way you do it. And I think he'd learned a lot, and I think he's learned, and he used that at Celtic. You do think it's crazy. The treble, why give that up? Why do it? But as I said, I think there was a lot more going on there than what the fans actually know. And that's the reason why he thought now is the time.
Phil, thanks,
I actually thought he would have a chance at Chelsea. If Sarri, with the talk was that he was going, I thought he would have a chance there, and maybe his guys, his people, his agents or whatever, maybe he tested the water at Chelsea, and they've gone, no, we'd look elsewhere if we wanted a manager, and I think that's why he plumped for Leicester. Yeah,
maybe he's in the shop window too, in a Premier League context, on that point, a little bit more at Leicester than he might have been at Celtic. But we'll see how it pans out over the next while. Phil, thanks a million.
My pleasure, guys. Have a good weekend.
Cheers, you too. Phil Thompson on the line there ahead of the Merseyside Derby this weekend. B-Rog for Chelsea?
Well, he's obviously been there as a coach before, hasn't he? And Roman Abramovich has a particularly good relationship with him. Like, there was a famous anecdote of Brendan Rodgers coaching Abramovich's son.
Right.
Kind of,
well, that's kind of one with the boss, isn't it?
On a one-to-one basis, I think. Like, Abramovich's son wasn't a professional footballer or anything.
Oh, I know, yeah, but why wouldn't you?
It's kind of like I don't know, a sad enough errand to be kind of say. It's like pop out there and get milk for the office sort of thing. It's like, here, go out there and train my son.
I don't know. He's
not a professional footballer or anything.
I think you're being unbelievably cynical on, which is not like you.